Good evening, everyone. It's 25th of February. We're another week closer to the start of the season, and I am not really a week nearer with this. But we'll carry on going. We've got some stuff happening. This week I'm going to do the same sort of thing. I think I've adjusted the angle a little bit so that there's a bit less glare from these lights. Hopefully you can hear me a bit better as well. What I want to do today, I need to put the rear end back together so I can check the chain run. I think because we're running a different swinging arm to last year, so I need to check that the front sprocket lines up with the rear sprocket. Excuse me. I've got the forks out because I'm making some new yokes. I'm going to put last year's yokes in. There won't be any bearings or anything, but it just means the bike's a bit more manageable to move about if there's some sort of forks in the front end. So I'm going to get making a start on that. Oh, purchase of the week. Aluminium foil tape for heat insulation. Middle aisle at Aldi. Never fails. Right, let's get this put back together. If I pull that out, that is just going to fall over. Is it? Yeah. A piece of wood. There we go. Right. I hope everyone enjoyed the last video anyway. I really enjoyed making it. I think I've got 98 views. 100 would be cool. 25 subscribers. Apparently that's what you need for YouTube success. You need subscribers. Okay, right. Oh, before we start, a couple of people mentioned that they couldn't really see what I was talking about with some of the parts that I made. So really quick, I'm just going to show you this with a bit more of a close-up. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. So the lovely bracket, so it's a Panigale caliper. The bracket was supplied by me, back to me by Max. Now Max is from Vanoni. They're based in London. Max runs a flat track team with 2 hooligan bikes, and Jack Bell rides one of those for him. The other bike has been ridden by a couple of guests, but he was hooligan champion 2 years running. So they can build a good bike. They know what they're talking about. Well, anyway, so Max supplied me that bracket. Like I said last week, it didn't quite fit. I've had to just recess these a little bit so that the caliper sits a little bit further on. But not an issue. I made a spacer for it. That bit's steel, so it doesn't wear on the side of the swinging arm when it's being installed. I said about my extra lightweight super racing torque arm. Might be able to see it a little bit better if I show you it like that, because it wasn't close enough before. But yeah, you can see that how light it is. The rose joints either end keep everything so it all moves when we're changing and adjusting the wheelbase. It'll all adjust nicely. Right, I'm going to reinstall that just loosely so that I can check this chain run. There's a few things other people wanted me to talk about. I can't remember what any of it was, to be honest. But if there is something that you've noticed that you want to ask me about or want to talk to me about, please get in the comments, add a like, do all that kind of stuff so that I know I'm on the right track, doing the sort of stuff that people want to hear about, want to learn about, and try and keep it all interesting. That's going to fall off. Okay, let's get that all back in there. Put the adjusters in this time. Same again with the adjusters. You said you couldn't see them. So all they are, just an aluminium sort of barrel that sits inside the end of the swinging arm. That's a little cap on the end. Supports the threaded bar. I can use that to adjust the chain tension. Of course, it's really tight. But then again, we wanted everything like new. There's no point making it already worn out. Why is that? I've got an issue here. There's something not quite right. This is an issue. There's something on the end of the spindle. That should be a nice slide fit. I've got some degreaser here. Using a well ventilated space, like my garage. Clean that up. Not sure what was happening there, but there we go. Much better. Okay. Lined up. Why aren't you going in? Okay, so fits. Fits. Put it all together and it doesn't fit. Ah dear. Always the simple jobs. In. So I'm dropping everything now. I might give up with that for a minute because I'm getting annoyed and then you end up doing things wrong. Okay. Let's put the old front end back in. Stuff I like to talk about, quite an important one, is mental health. It's like a taboo thing, isn't it? People sort of don't really talk about. They don't talk about honestly, I don't think. You get a lot of stuff online about, oh, it's self-help, you know, and you need to talk, and all these instructions what you've got to do to look after your mental health. At the end of the day, it's whatever works for you personally. Like, I like coming in here and working on the bikes. I like going for a ride on my mountain bike, and that works for me. Talking about it, I suppose. but you know, it's not the be all and end all for absolutely everybody. You know, everyone's different, and what works for one person might not work for someone else. I think you just got to respect that. Like I said, this is just going on here. No bearings or anything in there. Just going on so that I can balance the bike a bit better and move it around the shop without hurting myself. Wrong size Allen key. But yeah, now you may notice me sporting a very trendy moustache. When I actually started with it was around November last year, when everyone was, when I first started, I was like, oh, is it for November? And in actual all honesty, it wasn't. Like, that was just sheer coincidence. And my wife asked me, she said, oh, it's I quite like it, but it's November, is it? You're going to do it for November? I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But I can't claim it was for November because I wasn't clean shaven at the start of November. I wasn't clean shaven, so it wasn't like a full on, I did it all the right way. And also, I didn't collect for the charity that it supports, and I wouldn't want to take away from anybody who did do Movember properly. You know, I didn't really do it properly. It's just one of those things. I'll lower that down to get the one of those things. I quite like the moustache. But yeah, if it means that people want to talk about their own mental health or just sort of take note of their own mental health, then yeah, cool, whatever, fine. It's, you know, it isn't really what I intended it for, but if it means someone looks after themselves, then cool, why not? It's the biggest, don't quote me on the facts and the figures, but I'm pretty sure suicide is the biggest killer of men under the age of 40. Which, considering all the stupid, ridiculous activities that that a lot of us do, that's quite impressive. That it's still, well, not impressive, that's the wrong word. Shocking. It's shocking that it's still the number one. The thing that kills most young men is them taking their own lives. That's mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. So, if me having a moustache makes one person like have a giggle and think about maybe their own mental health or their friend's mental health or something like that, well, that's cool as well. You know, it's not what I intended, but if that's a byproduct of it, then that's a happy coincidence. I'm happy with that. I'm going to keep the video a bit shorter this week. Someone had said to me that people lose interest after, 6 minutes or something. But I don't know, we're probably already about 10 minutes now. How are we saying? 15! Woohoo! Okay. Right, well, that's the old front ending. A lot longer forks. So I'm just going to drop those through the yokes. lower the front end down, make it safe for me. Oh, the battery, if you remember from last time, I couldn't find where I wanted to fit this back. This is the battery that I used last year. And on the old chassis, there was space basically made for it, kind of under the seat. The fuel tank was right at the very front. This was under the seat and the carbs are in between in the middle. There's not space to put it under the seat because the carbs are right at the front, so there's no fuel tank space for a fuel tank there. I can't put it on the seat because that's where the fuel tank needs to go. Now what I can do is tuck it in. This one would just about fit in underneath there at one side. If I take these off, you might be able to see and I can explain a bit better. I can put the battery in there. The coils, CDIs, all the other electrics should fit in here somewhere. Fuel pump probably in here. And then that's all gravy and will all fit. The only problem is this battery, an 8 amp hour battery, is just too big. I mean, anyway, I've found one that's a 7 amp hour battery, which I'm 99% certain will still have enough juice in it for me to do the racing that we need to do on a battery. But it's a bit shorter and a bit narrower, so I can make a bracket in here and mount it there, and that will be problem solved. Yeah, we're making some yokes. They'll be done this week, so next Sunday let's do a video and I will show you the yokes that I've made, and hopefully I can get it sat on its wheels, get everything weighed, get everything measured, so then I can take the bouncy bits out, get those sent off with the right information, and I can get the bike off the bench and to my friends who is going to help me make the fuel tank. To be continued.